Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Hello, and welcome to episode 191, I think, of your favorite podcast. Today is my turn to tell a special topic story in which sleuths help solve the case. It is, of course, a very sad story, but I think we will actually have fun remembering this victim. And my story is just full of fun facts. Before we get into all that, do you have a fun fact?
I do. And on the note that you have said that your story is full of fun facts, I will keep my fun fact short and sweet in that Victor Hugo's novel, Les Miserables, contained a sentence that is 823 words long. As avid readers, I can't conceptualize how that would work, but it's there. So it's there.
Listen, just because you call it a sentence doesn't mean it is. So, sounds like that guy, Victor Hugo, was bad at punctuation.
But great musical. Nick Jonas was in it, so,
Yeah.
Round of applause all around. What is your fun fact?
My fun fact is that according to some studies, having tattoos can help your body fight off illnesses.
Perfect.
This is because when the foreign ink gets introduced into your body increases the number of antibodies in your blood as they try to break down the foreign material and dissolve it. Thankfully, the ink droplets are too big to be dissolved unless they're broken down with a laser, which is why laser removal happens for tattoos. But the whole time the tattoo exists...
Talking to you, Davidson.
The whole time the tattoo exists on your body is overproducing antibodies to protect you from your tattoo. And in turn, those extras can also help protect against other illnesses if they become introduced into your body. Since they're right there already. That's really freaking cool.
That is really cool. So next time somebody's like, oh, you have too many tattoos, is there such thing?
There's not a such, I mean, there might be, but...
No,
who
there
knows?
definitely might be, and there definitely is, but this is an added bonus. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm. So today's episode pairs well with a Mississippi Mud from Phil's Supper Club in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is known for its supper clubs, which are unpretentious, out-of-the-way gathering places that serve fancy drinks, hearty dinners, and have a cozy atmosphere. So basically, it's like a speakeasy, but after Prohibition was over, and people were like, well, we liked the vibe of the secrecy. Let's just have a chill vibe, but with alcohol, not illegal.
Love it.
Super cool. A Mississippi Mud is a drink on their menu that consists of Kahlua, Southern Comfort, and hand-dipped ice cream. Ice cream drinks are another, or boozy shakes as we call them, are another thing that Wisconsin is known for. Oh. And if you are planning on going sober like me, then just make yourself a delicious chocolate milkshake, which is what I did. I used chocolate milk and coffee-flavored gelato to make my drink today.
Ooh.
How did yours turn out?
Maybe that was my problem. So I actually went non-alcoholic as well for my milkshake. And I did coffee that I cooled this morning. I brewed more. And then I did chocolate milk with dark chocolate chips in it. No, chocolate ice cream with dark chocolate chips in it. Coffee, ice cubes, and a little bit of chocolate milk. And as it turns out, my blender before was not the problem. I'm simply the problem.
It's me. Hi.
I don't know how to fucking make the right consistency with frozen drinks. I think I did okay. It's like a little runny. Like you can see it's a little runny. It's okay. I put lots of whipped cream in it and a little bit of coffee grounds on top for a garnish, and it's
Yeah.
delicious. It's like a frozen mocha. I'm here for it.
It's great. Yeah. Mine is actually a little runny as well. You're supposed to put in the frozen stuff first, then
I
add
know.
the liquid. I did it opposite as
I
well.
did too.
So I just added an extra scoop of ice cream like right on top
Ah, yours
to
looks really
kind of
pretty
help.
with the chocolate swirls, though.
Thanks.
That's why my jar is so big because it just kept going wrong and I kept adding more
Oh
ice.
my gosh.
But it is really coffee and really tasty.
Yes.
So I love it.
Delicious.
And
Add
if
the
you try
booze
the
if you
boozy
choose.
edition, yeah, I love that. That's our new slogan. And let us know if you enjoy it.
All right, so while we take a couple sips of our drinks here, we are going to listen to a promo from a podcast called Truly Twisted.
Maybe you've heard of her.
Gregory May was born on March 19th, 1945, and grew up in Lake Forest, Chicago. He was a self-employed traveling artist, as he humbly called himself, but actually he had a reputation as being one of the Midwest's fastest and most talented tattoo artists.
That's where the
Multiple
tattoo came into play.
Yes.
Also, it's better than being an unlicensed freelance handyman.
That's very true. Multiple sources I found said that he opened his first tattoo shop in 1955. I'm not sure if that is true, as he would have been 10 years old. But again, multiple sources, and it was the 50s, so who
I
fucking
was gonna
knows?
say the 50s of it all. It
Yeah,
makes sense. Why wouldn't a 10-year-old have a tattoo shop?
right. The first official shop was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and he was doing well for himself. But by 1968, the city of Kenosha had banned tattoos. So he moved inland to,
What?
right?
That's fucking
Fucking
rude.
60s? Yeah. They're like, no tattoos in this town. Um,
Their immune systems must have been horrible.
so he moved inland to Lake Geneva and opened up Lake Geneva Tattoo Shop. In his lifetime, Greg May had over 40 home addresses, traveling often in order to learn new techniques and meet new clients. He even allegedly met and learned from Norman Keith Collins, aka Sailor Jerry, inventor of the Sailor Jerry style tattoos.
That's so funny.
I know.
Love it. I mean, good for him. I've had friends that have had tattoo guns over the years and that have like gone to be tattoo artists or their intentions were to be, and
Hmm.
it's just been chaos. So,
Oh gosh.
like one of my friends has a tattoo on his leg that says haha tattoo bitches.
Yeah, a lot of people
Men
who
and alcohol and tattoo guns are just not good ideas.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of people who want to do it practice on themselves. You can
Yeah.
buy fake skin. Okay, you don't have to
Oh, yeah,
practice on
pig skin.
yourself.
Yeah, pig skin. It's
Well,
real
there's
gross.
also like just silicone.
Synthetic, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen th No, Brayden used to practice on pig skin, and it grossed me the fuck out.
Yeah, that's
She's like,
gross.
"Where did you get that from?" He's like, "The butcher shop." I'm like, "Ugh."
Ugh. Practice on
But
a
as we've said
orange or something.
about pork,
Ugh,
closest to human
gross.
skin.
Yeah.
I just need you to think about it, okay?
I don't want to. I'm just gonna eat it. Greg May also found himself a wife, Sheila May, and taught her how to tattoo. Eventually, Sheila became a pioneer herself as one of the first female tattoo artists in the US and the inventor of permanent makeup and dermapigmentation, which is the art of tattooing surgical scars with the perfect skin tone color to boost the patient's confidence.
Hmm.
She went on to tattoo many celebrities, including Dolly Parton and Michael Jackson.
Dolly Parton. Oh, and
Yeah,
Sheila
isn't that
May is
awesome?
just the cutest name ever.
I know.
I was like, "Am I allowed to like Sheila?" I never know going into a story if I'm allowed to like a person, but if she's been near Dolly Parton, I already like her.
Right? Dolly would not let a bad person near her.
That's exactly what I
She
was
knows the
thinking.
vibes.
Also, my heart goes out to her because her husband died like 3 days
Oh, I
ago, didn't
know.
he? Oh,
Yeah.
I know. My heart. I'm like, poor Dolly.
Hmm.
Dolly's a listener of the show. We're absolutely with you.
He and Brandon are probably just talking all kinds of goodness about Dolly. You know
That's
it. You
totally
know
what
it.
I thought. Yeah.
All right. Gregory and Sheila May had two children together, a son named Don and a daughter named Shannon. But in 1977, Greg and Sheila decided that they wanted different things out of life, and so they divorced amicably, and Sheila moved to California with her two children. Greg called his kids and his friend Sheila as much as he could to update them on his life and to get updates on theirs. And the two visited each other often, and Sheila worked at Greg's tattoo shop whenever she was in town in Lake Geneva. Sheila is fascinating to me, but let's get back to Greg. Tattoos were his job, but he was a history buff, and collecting Civil War memorabilia was his passion. At one point, he owned approximately $250,000 worth of it. He'd travel all over the country to check out other people's finds. He became so popular among that group of people that others would ask him if something was legit or not, and they trusted him to tell them the truth and not try to get the collectible for himself. He was really just that great of a guy, which was proved again when he finally retired from tattooing. In 1995, Greg decided that he wanted to move out of Wisconsin, away from the tattoo shop for good. He wanted to live along the Mississippi River, like Mark Twain. So he was going to sell his tattoo shop to a man named Little Greg, who he had been mentoring and teaching to tattoo since Little Greg was a little kid. But that year, Little Greg's dad died, and his dad was the one who was going to help him with the funds to buy the place. Now, Little Greg had nothing. But Greg May had faith in Little Greg and gave him the tattoo shop anyway. No payment necessary. Lake Geneva Tattoo is still standing to this day, and Little Greg is still running it. How freaking sweet is that?
I love it.
If we're ever in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Right? That will be where we get our tattoo.
Yes. Around the year 2000, Greg May moved to the picturesque. It's really hard to say that word. Hang on. Around the year 2000, Greg May moved to the picturesque river town of Bellevue, Iowa. With him, a friend of his moved too, one that, again, he had been helping out. This friend of over 30 years, he was helping to get back on his feet after some misdemeanor run-ins with the law. His friend's name was Doug, but he went by Moose, among other names like Duke and Buck. By the way, what do you think of when you hear the name Moose?
Step Up too.
Yes! Okay, it's just making sure. Um,
I had a
I
huge crush on him when that
Me
movie came
too!
out. No, look, if you see him now, I'm like, why? It's the
Oh my
dance
god.
moves. It's
Yeah.
the shaggy hair, the
Uh-huh.
trucker hat, and the dance moves for
It
sure.
is. It is. So, for those of you who don't know, Adam Savani played a character named Moose in Step Up 2, and that will forever be the only human named Moose that I can picture. So I'm just gonna call Doug Doug. Okay?
Fair.
He cannot be my Moose. All right.
100%.
Doug moved in with Greg in Bellevue. He was renting out Greg's basement with his girlfriend, Julie Johnson. Doug and Julie were pretty serious, and before long, Greg found himself a lady friend that he got serious with too, Jan Bowman. After only 6 months of dating, Greg and Jan knew that this was the real deal. He thought she was a sweet blonde bombshell, and she thought of him as tall, distinguished, and polite. They were 55 and 47, and at that age, you tend to know what you're looking for. And one of the things that Greg was looking for was warmer weather. He liked the Mississippi, but he was tired of the winter.
Yeah,
He
and
asked
being from
Jan,
Wisconsin, it's fucking cold as shit.
mm-hmm, my ice cream's too thick now. Um,
I have the opposite problem.
yeah.
It's just like really tasty chocolate milk at this point.
He asked Jan to move in with him by handing her a Sarasota, Florida real estate magazine and telling her to pick any house she wanted, and he'd get it to live with her. Freaking adorable. I love this man.
Right?
They spent 3 days together talking about how it blah, 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 talking about how it would all work out, where they were going to live, and when they were going to go. Greg even purchased a yellow box truck to start packing his things into. But there was one thing that caused the two of them to have a bit of a disagreement.
Oh.
Greg told Jan that Doug and Julie were going to follow them to Florida. The four of them hung out all of the time since they lived in Greg's basement, and Jan and Julie could even be described as friends. But this idea upset Jan. She told Greg that she didn't trust Doug and didn't want to live with him. Greg responded, that Doug had been his best friend for years and he didn't really trust Julie, but I mean, they've been living together for forever. It's fine. After their conversation, Jan went home to pack, while Greg said he was going to go and say goodbye to a few friends in town. But when she came back to the house later on, the door was locked, and Greg wouldn't answer her knocks at the door. She
Oh
could see him
no.
back to her from the waist down, sitting in a chair through the window, but he wouldn't let her in or even acknowledge that she was there. Julie, Doug's girlfriend, was in the house as well, from what Jan could see. She looked like she was nervously pacing around and cleaning, perhaps prepping for the move. Jan left, went to a bar, and called Greg on the phone, but he didn't answer. She left messages asking if he was mad at her, asking what she had done wrong. She went back to the house later, but she didn't see Greg or Julie through the window anymore. She just heard loud thumping noises and thought Greg was mad enough to be Greg must have been really mad to be stomping around the place.
I'm like frantic cleaning. Something's not right here.
Jan went home not knowing what to do and decided to just give Greg some time. 3 days later, she got a phone call, but it was from Julie. Julie told Jan that Greg decided not to move to Florida with her, and instead he went back to Chicago, where he had lived in the past. When Jan went by the house in disbelief, it seemed to be true. All of Greg's things, his furniture, his Civil War memorabilia, and his car were gone. And she couldn't even get closure because soon after, his cell phone was disconnected. Jan went about her life, but a few weeks later, she became concerned when Greg's children were calling her to ask how he was doing. She informed them that he had broken up with her through Julie, and they said that was just downright impossible. Their dad was a good man. He wouldn't break up with anyone through another person. And he told his kids all about his life, and last they heard, he loved Jan and was excited to start their new life in Florida. After contacting some of his friends, they found out that he also had never said goodbye to them either. Dawn and Shannon tried to think of every possible reason why their dad could be gone, but nothing was making sense. So they flew into Bellevue, Iowa, and met with the police to file a missing persons report. When asked, neighbors and employees and friends around town only knew what Jan knew. Greg said he was moving to Florida, and Doug and Julie Johnson were moving too. But Doug and Julie Johnson didn't seem to exist anywhere else in the world. For a long time, there were no leads, and police were beginning to think that he was a missing adult who chose to go missing. Until Don and some of his dad's friends found a brochure from an auction company that had Greg's Civil War memorabilia listed for sale, nearly $70,000 worth of it. According to the paperwork at the auction house, the person selling the items and who would receive the checks for the items sold was a Mary Clar out of Webster, Wisconsin. So police drove from Iowa to Wisconsin to meet this mystery woman and find out what she knew about the 3 missing friends. When they arrived at the home of Mary Clar, they discovered that the only person living there was an elderly woman, Mary. Mary did not know who Greg May was, and she didn't even know an auction house was selling anything in her name. She also didn't know Julie Johnson or a Doug Johnson, but maybe her daughter, Julie Miller, and her boyfriend, Doug DeBruin, had more information. This poor lady was clueless.
Oh.
something's happening with your child.
Yeah.
Mary told the police that her daughter was living with her boyfriend in Flagstaff, Arizona. They were living at a trailer park in the back of a yellow box truck. And so that is where they traveled to next and where they found Julie and Doug in April of 2001. Sorry, 2001 is where we're
It's much less of a jump than 1970.
at. Yeah. Julie and Doug had an inventory that listed many of Greg's Civil War items, but they said that Greg gave them the items before he left, and they didn't know where he was. Doug was able to be arrested for a parole violation, and Julie was arrested for interstate transport of stolen property. But at this point, Greg is still missing. So they decided to talk to the couple separately, starting with Julie. Meanwhile, Doug's jacket, which was in the truck, was tested for blood, as a red substance was noticed on it. And when it was tested against Dawn and Shannon's DNA, it came back as a 99% match to Greg. But a small drop of blood from someone who lives in the same house as Doug for, forever. They've lived together forever. That's not really proof of much.
No.
Luckily, Julie was ready to talk in order to save herself. In exchange for immunity, Julie told police that Gregory May was dead. She claimed that she was down in the basement when she heard arguing and a loud crash. When she came up to the kitchen, Greg was laying on the ground, and Doug was telling her, "I killed him. It was an accident. I hit him too hard and I killed him." She then claimed that Doug wrapped Greg in plastic bags, duct taped them, and put Greg in his car and put him in the Mississippi River. She said she cleaned up the blood, but that is the only part she had in it. With this, Doug is now the main suspect for murder. The issue was there was no evidence to any of this. And the Mississippi River flows so strong and so long that there was no way they would ever find Greg's body. If there is no body, how could they convince a jury that Greg was even dead, let alone that Doug killed his best friend? Police worked the case for many years while Doug served his time for his parole violations. In 2004, they officially charged Doug with murder and set a trial date for 2005, still with no body. This would be Iowa's first ever murder trial without the body of a murder victim. However, on March 17th, 2005, just days before the trial, the prosecutors got a call from a representative of the Doe Network, letting them know that they believed to have found the remains, or at least parts of it, of Gregory May.
No.
The Doe Network is a nonprofit website where volunteers are helping to give names to unidentified remains or identifying and locating missing persons. Anyone can get on this website, look through photos, and match them with names of people they know from flyers, from around town, or from missing persons websites. When the volunteer thinks they have made a match, they send it to the administrative team who reviews it before sending it off to the police to verify the match.
That's cool. I
It
didn't
is
know it was
super
that
cool.
interactive.
I know, I love it. As soon as I read this, I was like, why am I not on the Doe Network more
Yeah,
often?
why am I not spending my free
Why
time
would
on
I
the Doe
scroll
Network?
Pinterest instead of scrolling the Doe Network?
I mean, both serve their purposes, but that is really cool. I'm gonna check it out too.
By the name of Ellen Leach, had started her journey with the Doe Network back in 1994 when her cousin's children went missing after her cousin was carjacked.
Oh my
Unfortunately,
god, that's heartbreaking.
that case didn't end well. The children were actually murdered, and Ellen's cousin, Susan Smith, was arrested for having killed them and making up the whole story.
Stop.
Susan
Full circle
Smith.
moment. That's why you
Yes.
were texting me about that. I'm like, "Why are you asking me about
Yes.
Susan Smith? What are you covering?" No, we have never covered that story, and yes, it is absolutely devastating.
Yeah, this
Um,
woman, for, a brief recap, put her kids in the back of a car, drove her car into um a lake or a river or something, and then told police that she was carjacked by a black man. And really, she had done it because her new boyfriend didn't want
didn't want.
kids.
Yeah, yeah.
What a woman.
Maybe don't choose a man over your children, and maybe find a man that is more in line with your current lifestyle and goals in life. But
Yeah.
that
Um,
story hurts, but that's crazy.
yeah. So that was Ellen Leach's cousin.
Yeah. Well, at least
Um,
Ellen Leach is out there doing good stuff.
exactly. Ellen never stopped wanting to do good for others. In her lifetime so far, she has identified 8 people on the Doe Network.
Hey, what is it called? Twisted and Unscrewed?
Uncorked.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Who's that?
Uncorked. Patty, his wife, was wondering.
Oh, we might have a new listener.
Thick. Not unscrewed. Why would it ever
Unscrewed.
be unscrewed, Jesse?
One of them was Greg May. Ellen Leach, web sleuth, had seen a photo of a bust on the Doe Network website. The bust was created by legendary forensic artist Frank Bender, who was known for creating facial representations of a person with nothing to go off of but their skull. He called himself the recomposer of the decomposed.
I am obsessed with this man.
Oh, God. The skull
That's
used
the
to.
greatest thing I've ever heard. Yeah.
It's hard to move on. Everything
No,
in this story is
it's
like, listen, I'm
so
so
great.
sad for
I
Greg,
feel like
but
I'm watching a
what a
movie
fucking
right
life
now.
he has had.
I
Yeah.
feel
And
like I'm watching a movie.
I wish he didn't have to die. But even in
Absolutely.
death, like, the most fascinating things happen to this man.
Yeah, right? I mean, if I'm going out, this is what I hope happens after. I'm just saying.
No. Mm-mm. I
No?
mean, after,
No?
but not
Take
during.
it back? Okay.
Take it back. Take it back. Okay.
The recomposer of the decomposed, though,
Yeah,
like,
that's
that
good.
needs to, one, be, like, a band name or be put on a T-shirt or something. Like, that's the greatest thing ever.
No. Wait. A band name, except it's just the composer of the decomposed. Because, a composer is someone who composes
Yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah.
That's so good.
Somebody out there, you're welcome.
You're welcome. Please send us your first mixtape. Signed. Thank you.
If we get a fucking mixtape in the mail, I'm gonna lose my mind.
uh,
We need
Wait a
to
minute.
stop reaching out loosey-goosey
Okay.
because people
Okay,
respond
wait.
now. Like, for update, guys, Sierra did not dream the potato song.
Oh yeah, it's a video called Small Potato. Small potato, small potato, small potato. Oh, potato. Okay, anyway.
Thank you to that lovely listener for sharing.
I need to backtrack and just say, when I say composer of the decomposed, I do not mean, you do not have my permission to use decomposed things that are human to create music, okay?
Right?
Like ghosts, okay, spirits if they consent.
Yeah, if they choose to participate in your
Maybe
music.
decomposing plants. Do not be a murderer who makes music, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Please.
Me and Kevin have been rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so it's just been like a whole, like the episode where the kid's brother dies and he tries to make
Mhm.
him like a Franken girl. That's what that
Yeah.
made me think of when you said
Have
the
you watched
composer of the
Lisa
decomposed.
Frankenstein yet?
No.
Oh my god, you got to.
I don't have whatever it's on.
I think it's on Prime. I bought it.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it is. Okay. I will look it up when we're done recording.
Okay, so the skull used to create the bust was from a truck stop in Kearney, Missouri, which is about 6 hours from where Greg lived in Bellevue. A trucker had noticed a bucket full of hardened cement and emptied it so that he could take the bucket home and use it for feeding his pigs. Back to pigs. He was like, that's a nice 5-gallon bucket. I could really grab some slop and feed my pigs with that thing.
I
I
mean,
want it.
Is this man, like, unrelated to this and that other than that?
Completely unrelated.
Then yes, I love it. The wholesomeness of
Completely
being like, "That's
unrelated.
a great bucket."
Yeah. He's like, "That's a cool-ass bucket." He dumps it out. There's a big old hunk of concrete in it, and he's like, "Fuck this concrete. I just want the bucket." Okay? And then he goes home.
Can't
Alright?
say I blame him. Reuse, recycle.
Exactly.
Maybe you'll solve a crime.
So, emptying the bucket, he left the cement block in the parking lot where another trucker, eventually, had to move it to be able to drive through. He's like, "What the fuck is this hunk of concrete in the road? I need to move this out of my way so I can drive." Well, when the trucker moved the cement block, he saw what looked to be a jawbone and hair poking through the cement.
Oh, no.
This is when police became aware of the skull in the bucket and
This is what
eventually,
nightmares are made of.
yeah, and eventually sent it off to the recomposer of the Decomposed. Ellen Leach saw Frank Bender's bust with no body, no height and weight, no identifying markers, tattoos, piercings, no hair color or eye color, no last seen wearing. And she thought this bust belonged to a person that no one on this website is going to want to identify. They would think it was impossible and a waste of time. And that is exactly why she wanted to identify this person. She searched through the Doe Network's missing persons database, national missing persons websites, and international missing persons websites, but couldn't find anyone that she felt looked like the bust. The bust had been completed in 2002, and it wasn't until 2004 on an Iowa state website where police and medical examiners post missing persons that Ellen saw Greg May's photo. She sent the photo in to the administrative team, who eventually sent dental records to Greg's dentist, who finally verified that the head in the bucket belonged to the murdered father and legendary tattoo artist Gregory May. I gotta send you the pictures of Greg May and then of the bust.
Oh. I love this story. I love
Oh, it's
hate
on
it.
here.
I love hate
Don't
it.
you? I know. Oh, I can put it in here, can I?
Where? Oh, yeah, you can.
In here? Oh, no. Oh, I was like, what just happened?
That's wild. Oh, he looks so awesome.
I
That's
know.
cool.
Just like a sweet old guy.
Right? Who could hurt him? Do we have photos of Sheila?
No.
Sheila and Gregory May.
Actually, I don't think I saw one on there either.
No.
I was gonna say she passed away recently. I was
Yeah.
gonna say her obituary, but I don't think there's one on there either.
No, I think you're right, though. I think I saw Sheila May. Did she die in 2022?
No, I think
TattooArtistLegacy.com.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Sheila Jean May.
Yeah. Of
Oh,
cancer.
oh, she's so pretty. Her and I have the same haircut. That's
I wanna see.
like when I first got my haircut. How do I share? Don't mute. Present. Nope. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Sheila May. Share. Look at her.
Oh, yeah.
She's so cute.
She is.
That has to be her, right? Legendary tattoo artist.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if any other Sheila Mays, but that is a really cute name. But yeah, I didn't see any photos of her and Gregory. I don't know who these people are, but Humber Polytechnic. I don't know what this is. They're broadcasters. All right.
All right. I guess Greg's and Sheila's get together often.
And they do awesome things.
Awesome. Okay.
But
So, Greg's head being in a bucket, turns out Julie was lying, at least a little, right? It seemed pretty obvious to me already, though, since Jan said she saw Greg sitting in a chair that day when Julie was pacing around. So, how would that happen if, according to her story, he was on the ground and then she cleaned up after he was taken away? But anyway, where's my wording? Okay, so at least not all of him, because we have found his head, was disposed of in the Mississippi River. Unfortunately, Julie had already signed her deal for immunity for the information that she gave. So no matter what happens next, she's getting off scot-free. But knowing that a body was going to be introduced into the trial now, she did change her official story to the police. Julie said that Doug had actually pre-planned this murder. He had lined the basement with plastic sheets and then called Greg over toward the stairs. He asked Greg to take a look at the tattoo he was doing on Julie, asking for advice. When Greg got close to Julie, Doug, allegedly, came up behind him and wrapped a cord around his neck. Then they together dragged his body down the stairs. This could make sense with the banging noises that Jan heard the second time she went into the house. And like I said, Julie can't get in any more trouble for helping in this way since she already signed her immunity. So it seems like she felt it was safer to admit a little more wrongdoing than just cleaning up the mess. But it still seems weird to me. Why was Greg seen sitting in a chair upstairs? On the stand during court, Doug broke down in tears, telling the jury that Greg was his best friend and he could never hurt him. He said that Julie was the one who killed Greg. He was in the basement smoking when he heard odd sounds coming from upstairs before Julie ran down mad and mumbling about something he couldn't understand. When he went upstairs, he noticed that Greg was sitting in the chair at the kitchen table, bleeding from the chest, having been stabbed with a kitchen knife that laid nearby. Allegedly, after seeing what Julie had done, Doug went downstairs and threw up, before then helping her cover up the crime. The next steps were the same in both of their testimonies. They bought cement and a chainsaw. Doug used a chainsaw, Julie used the kitchen knife, and they both dismembered Greg, placing the pieces in plastic bags and wrapping them with duct tape. They drove down US 52, throwing pieces of him out the window as they went.
No!
They stopped on the Mississippi River Bridge to throw over his torso, weighed down with weights, and put the bucket of hardened cement and his head at the truck stop. The jury took only 1 hour to decide that Doug DeBruin was guilty of murder. He was sentenced to life without parole. And even though she couldn't be prosecuted for the part she played in this crime, Julie Miller was arrested and charged with perjury for signing immunity with one story and telling a different one later. She was sentenced to the maximum sentence for perjury, which was 5 years.
Feels like she should have been charged with a conspiracy to commit murder, but what do I know?
One of the prosecutors was quoted as saying, quote, "I am not one to readily believe in karma, or perhaps the spirit of Greg May directing things. But wow, it certainly makes one think there may be forces out there working for justice other than us." End quote. And let me just say, maybe there was karma or Greg's spirit or a higher being, but mostly those forces working for justice were Greg's family, his friends, the volunteers, the web sleuths. The public helped solve this case. And there are many other cases that are similar that can be found in the book titled The Skeleton Crew by Deborah Halber.
Love.
It is all about web sleuths who are on the Doe Network identifying bodies.
Oh, do you own this book?
I do not.
Oh,
I know.
feels like a crime.
I did read the chapter about Greg May, though, which was listed online.
I love it. No, this is a great story.
It's so
Is that
silly.
how you found this?
I Googled, sleuths that solve crimes or whatever, and I found a head in the bucket case, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And when I looked it
Naturally
up, I
intrigued.
found, chapter 12 of this book. And I was like, oh, I gotta read this.
Because I've heard the name Ellen Leach before.
Well, she's found
Yeah,
7 other people. So,
apparently. So I
yeah,
wonder if she came up in one of my searches too.
maybe one of them was one of the people that she helped was a teen girl. I'm trying to remember her name.
Was it a
A
hit
teen
and
girl
run
who went
story?
missing. Maybe that sounds
Oh,
familiar.
I think I almost covered that. Well, that is it for our special topics, Twisted Humans. We are not doing a serial killer next round, but we do technically have something really fun planned for you again for our episode 200. So don't you
Yes,
worry, don't you worry. And if you have
it's
another
serial
suggestion,
killer-esque.
it is serial killer-esque, one might say. If you have another suggestion for our special topic episodes too, let us know, or a specific case you want us to cover, and we'll work around it. So,
Yep.
Internet Sleuths was the Sierra pick, but you guys have had some really sad ones for us lately, and we needed a palate cleanser, so that's where we landed. But we've got lots of fun stuff planned for you. And before we roll on out of here, Sierra, do you have anything you want to talk about? Anything fun? Other than the fact that you get keys to your new house tomorrow?
That's pretty exciting. But there was something I specifically wanted to talk about, and I don't remember what it was, and that stresses me out. I'm looking around like maybe I left myself a identifying something, which I don't know. I don't
Have
know.
you
I'm
ever heard the
sad.
term like walk through a doorway?
Yeah. Okay. It's nothing. I can't find. But I have something else. I found a new treat
A
that
new
I'm
treat.
obsessed with. Yeah. So, the um Christmas tree, the chocolate Christmas trees from Little
Yes.
Debbie.
Yep.
Like 3 years ago, people were like, they're not making them anymore. Oh no. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I know there's not a lot of them, but I'm still finding them. It's fine. This past year, I did not find any. And I'm really upset and nervous that they might have actually stopped making them. I'm hoping I just didn't get there soon enough,
I'm
and not
hoping
that
so
they're
too.
gone.
And then it's like bad karma for you lying to Jesse and storing them in your closet the year before
Yeah.
and just
Well,
swapping out the box in your pantry like you weren't going through them.
well, so I found a new Little Debbie treat that I'm obsessed with. Okay.
Okay, what is it?
It's called a marshmallow puff. All right.
Oh,
It's an Easter marshmallow. I know. I know. I know. Why would I ever like that? That sounds disgusting. I don't like marshmallows. I hate Peeps. Um, this thing tastes like the fucking Christmas trees. I don't know how.
oh,
I don't know how, but somehow it's like this weird
it
chocolate
works.
cake stuff
All
with a
right.
big fluff of marshmallow coated in icing, like hard shell
I
icing.
trust the process. All right.
And
Because
it's
you
so
you
freaking
use
good.
the important term. I specifically hate Peeps. So
Yeah. Yeah, not Peep like at all.
okay, I respect that. If you
They're
like
delicious.
Peeps, I don't mean to offend you, but why?
If you like Peeps, I don't respect you, but just kidding, just kidding. No, Peeps aren't that bad.
The only
It's like
time
the
marshmallows are okay is s'mores and hot chocolate. Only time.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I would never just eat a marshmallow.
No.
Like it has to be melty. Like that's gross.
That's
But I do,
sorry. Rice Krispie squares.
yeah,
3
I
times
also
that
like
marshmallows are okay.
marshmallow fluff. Have you ever had like the fluff?
Oh, for, like, when you dip in fruit? Yes.
Yes. Or
Okay,
like
so
on a
there's
sandwich with
4
peanut butter.
times marshmallows are okay.
Yeah. So these kind of taste more like the marshmallow fluff, but
Okay.
it's like thicker, like an actual
Okay.
marshmallow. The thing
Okay.
about a
I
marshmallow
respect
that I
it.
don't like is the outside of the marshmallow. You
I
know?
just don't like how long I have to chew it for. I
M-
don't like that it
I
makes
feel
my
like
mouth feel like it's drowning. It's
I feel like
upsetting.
a marshmallow if you shaved it. Okay, if you skinned a marshmallow, the inside is really good. It's just sticky. You can't package it that way. This has the skinned marshmallow. There is no skin. It has been deskinned, okay? It's only the good parts of the marshmallow. It's great.
Our conversations continue to shock and horrify me. The amount of times that I'm recording, editing our episodes, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with us? So many things.
Oh, gosh.
Well, that's it for you folks. Skinned
That's that. Wait.
marshmallows.
Tell me something you've been
No!
wanting to
My
say.
something that I'm excited about is
You don't have to. It doesn't even have to be exciting. I just want to hear what you have to say. You like skinned marshmallows too?
No. My something that I just want to say is that I got a giant new squishmallow that I don't know what to do with.
Oh, yeah.
Marshmallow adjacent, really. I need
It
to show
really
it
is.
to you. It's ridiculous.
I want to see. Oh, wow. Yeah, Sissy has one that's that size as well. It drives me crazy.
It's
I'm like, where does this
intrusive. It's like
go?
twice the size of my bat.
But do you snuggle with it?
I do. I did. Well,
It's
no,
good for snuggling.
they are. Me and Kevin watched a movie last night and we had treats and he made us steak for dinner and I snuggled up to it and he's like, I regret purchasing this. And I'm like, no, movie nights just got so much better. I also need to clarify. I think I told you this. My mom and my grandma were really confused when I said I sleep with a bat.
Yeah.
And they definitely thought I meant like a baseball bat, not a stuffed animal bat. Guys, Squishmallows are better than pillows. Amanda Jacobson knows what's up. They're just so nice. But they're really hard to wash. So I can imagine. I have a steam sanitary cycle on my dryer that I use.
Would you be able to,
oh gosh,
with a straight face and no embarrassment, take that Squishmallow to the dry cleaner and be like, I need this washed, please?
No. I'd be so ashamed. Are you kidding me? I'd be like, why does this adult woman have a Squishmallow? I mean, Squishmallows are more popular to adults, really. Like, I think
you
they're
can
way
say
more.
It belongs to your niece or something.
Especially
they don't need to ask.
One.
They don't need to ask.
Especially this one. Like, I'm not ashamed of my bat. I'm less ashamed because she's, like, iridescent and creepy and cute.
Yeah.
But, like, this is, like, the girliest thing ever. Like, no. I just,
adorable.
like, nearly broke my dryer last night on the steam cycle.
Yeah.
I thought that, like, a whole quilt was in it, and it kept saying, like, not enough water. And I'm like, listen.
Yeah.
We got there, though. Gracious. She was in there for 40 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
When you were a kid, did you, like, feel like you had to be nice to your stuffed animals? Like, did you, like, think they were gonna come to life and kill you if you weren't?
No, but okay.
Did you personify your toys in a way that you're like, I should treat you with respect?
Not because I was scared of them.
Oh.
I think just
maybe it's
because
I had too many porcelain dolls as a kid.
Nice.
That too. Well, they're scary.
My mom took me to Build-A-Bear when I was probably 7. And I got a bear and I named her Sophia.
Oh.
And my mom, Build-A-Bear was really expensive for the times. My mom was really poor for the times. And so she was like, if I'm getting you guys this damn bear and it comes with a diaper and a birth certificate, you better treat it like it's your own kid. I was like, yes, ma'am, I will. And I did. That was my baby. My baby Sophia.
That's so cute. I was kind of like that with my Molly doll, like Lunette and Molly. I had a Molly doll that I like changed her clothes and carried her around like a baby.
Yeah.
But the whole point to me asking you that question is that I kind of felt like weirdly guilty when I put her in the dryer. I'm like, sorry.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I don't know what kind of like millennial trauma that is.
Well, in my case, I don't have that trauma, but my half-brother's mom's little brother, I know this is the whole thing.
Yeah.
My half-brother's mom's little brother, when she was little, died in a dryer. So, yeah.
So dryers are dangerous, and I'm sorry.
They are. They are. Do not get in them. Do not let your children in them. Do not put things that might eventually come to life in them. I think you're good with a Squishmallow.
When he was little, I didn't turn it on.
Oh, well, Yeah, they turned it on.
Yeah, no, we didn't turn it on, but I'm glad we didn't now because I remember very
Yeah.
specifically us talking about it.
Yeah.
We were playing turkey and hunters, and Peyton was the turkey, and me and Andrea were the hunters, and we captured him and put him in the oven, which was the dryer. We just never
Oh my
turned it on.
god! What kind of game is Turkey and Hunters, and why did you put him in the oven?
We're
Did you
fucked up
skin him
kids.
too? Like a
No.
marshmallow?
No. But he was really upset about it, and he's got a lot of trauma that I'm definitely related to.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
I followed Andrea around. Well, she was the one that put him in a plastic bucket on top of a plastic car, and he smashed his face on a stone wall. That's why he's got his candy cane Harry Potter scar. I mean,
Goodness
we
gracious.
were roughhousing farm children. We shouldn't have been allowed to do that. But it was Thanksgiving, and that's what we chose to play. So
All
I'm glad we
right.
just left him in the dark and didn't turn it on.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Um,
if you too like skinned marshmallows, leave us 5 stars. And we will see you next week for my unsolved case. And in the meantime,
keep it twisted.
Twisted and Uncorked is a proud member of Weirding Way Media. Hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alicia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.